And just remember, the dinosaurs did not have a space program. And that's why they're not here today. No space program, not intelligent enough to have a space program. So to have a space program could be an evolutionary bottleneck. If your species does not develop a space program, sooner or later you're going to get wiped out.
And you got to develop a space program before you get hit with an asteroid.
That's right. That's right.
And that's where we are now. Either before you get hit with an asteroid or become one of those societies, what is it, level 1, where you're able to do something about supervolcanoes.
Right.
To do something about...
A Type 1 civilization could deflect asteroids, deflect meteors. They're masters of their planet. That's
Right.
Type 1.
And that's what we need to get to. And then we need to eventually become interstellar so that we can escape. If our star burns out, if there's a supernova at a nearby galaxy, if there's something that happens that kills us all, we at least can propagate the universe.
Right. And that's Type 2.
They have to lie about the nature of the universe because the nature of the universe is reflective of the nature of you, the individual. So the story, in order for it to anchor itself deep within your belief system, within your reality, it has to at the same time be a reflection, a manifestation of you. So this is why the evolution game is such a part of the heliocentric universe. This is why the star stuff quote gets thrown around so much, and it's so glorified as, you know, we're a part of the universe just like the stars, and everything is being simultaneously created. And we're a part of that creation. We're the intelligence within that creation. In fact, we're the peak of intelligence within that creation because we can't seem to see any other intelligent life in the universe. So if they focus all of your attention on the so-called intelligence of the universe and there is none, then who or what is the most intelligent being in the universe? Well, it's the being who can discover the universe. The being who is not only a manifestation of the universe, but something that has conquered the universe, that is exploring the universe, that has mathematical equations explaining how the universe works. It's about controlling the universe, controlling the planet, controlling the people. And that's what goes on in this Kardashev scale. The explaining of civilizations, the hypothesizing of what intelligent life is in the universe based on a heliocentric perspective. The Kardashev scale came out in 1964, which is the same exact series of years that NASA came out and the same time that CERN came out. So when I talk about NASA being a mass mind control program, I also include the story of CERN, because CERN came out in like a year before NASA, I believe. But CERN, how I explain, is the backup plan to NASA. It's the more complex universe. It's the tapping into the invisible universe. It's the breaking of dimensions beyond the physical universe. So NASA conquers the physical universe, explores the physical universe, takes pictures of the physical universe, while CERN is just playing like it's growing and getting better. But when they're ready to lock down that storyline and sell it to the people, they'll do that. And then they'll slowly shift from the physical universe into the non-physical universe. And that's why Plan A and Plan B were created at the same time. And in order for Plan A and B, but mostly Plan A to work, which was NASA, they had to invent this idea of math to go along with it. And something to strive for, something to seek. So to gain the attention, to keep the attention, and to keep the belief that this system is growing for the benefit of humanity. So this is where the Kardashev scale comes in. And real briefly, for people who don't know, the Kardashev scale basically explains what types of civilizations would focus on based upon intelligence and evolution. And it's all about control. If you read it, it's all about control. Type 1 is the civilization that has maxed out on the intelligence in reference to its own planet. And how you sell these civilizations or this intelligence to the masses of people is just like everything else. You sell it with fear. So with a Type 1 civilization, the reason why you're a type 1 civilization is because in this universe, if something is threatening your planet, you can do something about it. So if there's a super volcano that's getting ready to explode and you have the intelligence of a type 1 civilization, you can stop that super volcano. If there's a giant asteroid heading for New York and everybody's scared and they're going to die, they're going to go extinct, a type 1 civilization would be able to stop that asteroid. So really what they're doing and what they did with the Kardashev scale was, in a sense, they reverse engineered the plan that they had with NASA and with CERN, and then created a mathematical equation to prove that system that they were going to carry out for the next 50, 60, 70 years. And then when they release their beliefs or their discoveries over time, then that will prove the mathematical equations found or the hypothesis within these mathematical findings or beliefs of civilizations. They can structure their growth or their technology around that. And mostly the main thing is they can structure what they're selling to the masses of people around this idea. So they have a basis and they have a goal and they have a timeline. Not only that, they have something to be afraid of. They have something to discover. They have beings that are more intelligent, and they have something that can steal the attention away from what's happening right here in this realm. And that's the main design of the universe itself. It's to distract you from what's happening in this realm. This is why the whole universe has to be sold to you, and not just a space program. The universe itself has to be sold to you, and it has to anchor itself deep within you. And this is why evolution, and this is why dinosaurs are tied into this too. The reason why the dinosaur story is tied into the evolution theory and the civilization types is because if you can comprehend that dinosaurs were here millions of years ago and they went extinct, then that same thing can happen to you and your civilization. So you better go along with what they're saying. And what they're saying is that if you do not evolve yourself, if you do not grow within your reality, you will end up like the dinosaurs. And this is where the God part of this Western scientific world comes in. As much as they say they're separated from God, they sell you the fear of God harder than the church in many different ways. The fear that comes from this evil, angry, jealous God that will strike you down if you do something wrong, it's a reflection of the system itself. If God acts that way, then the people who are in charge of you are perfectly fine for also acting that way. If God is chaotic and controlling and jealous and all over the place, then that's how you should be. And it's okay for your leaders to be that way too. So this goes into the story of just like the reflection of the universe, the reflection of your leaders is the same thing. If your God acts a certain way and your universe acts a certain way and your leaders act a certain way, then that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you should be. That's what is natural. So they are inventing or reinventing what is natural based upon an unnatural, artificial universe. It's a religion. It's not a belief anymore. It's part of who they are. They are the star stuff of the heliocentric universe. There's no questioning that. When you're so vested in the belief system and the reality of the why, the how doesn't matter anymore. That's why it's so incomprehensible for people to even entertain the idea that hundreds of thousands of people, even millions of people are defending a lie. And then they have to add, oh, why? For money? For this? For that? No, they don't really know. They're not allowing themselves to know. It's like the Stockholm Syndrome. For people who don't know, Stockholm Syndrome is when a child or somebody gets kidnapped and they're living with that person for 5, 10, 20 years. That becomes their life. Those criminals become their mother and father, their family. And they end up defending them and protecting them and believing everything that they have created for that world. And the old world they used to be a part of is no longer there. It's no longer in their reality anymore. In fact, in some cases, if that old world comes back and presents itself, they will go against it. They will fight it. They don't want to go back to it. This is what happens to the world of our ancestors. We've been punked and bullied and forced into a false sense of reality, a false universe. And that false universe was installed into our reality to create weak people. The ancestors broke down this universe, explaining our relationship to this universe from a perspective of strength, from a perspective of balance and compatibility. The masculine is compatible with the feminine. The masculine isn't stronger than the feminine because what's your definition of strength? But in order to convince the whole universe to follow a certain perspective, you have to change the definition. You have to change what people are defining as their reality. So it's no longer about compatibility, working together as one function. It's about control. So in a type 1 civilization, they have to control the planet. In a type 2 civilization, they have to control the energy of the star that planet is orbiting around. And type 3 is controlling the energy of the entire galaxy. It goes further. Some say it doesn't, some say it does. But the first 3 is really what matters because the rest is just fluff to make it seem more real. But it goes from the planet to the solar system to the galaxy. And then it goes into the universe, manipulating space travel. So this is why there's so much focus on aliens, space, to emphasize the importance of technology and evolution. Because you want to be like them. You want to travel like the beings who are doing what they're doing in type 2, 3, and 4 civilization. Then they go into type 5, which talks about manipulating the multiverse, parallel universes. And then type 6 goes into creating and even destroying multiverses. So all of this is about control and destruction. In 1964, this scale was created to create this idea that will set the tone for NASA to project itself into the future. They couldn't do it with just guessing. They couldn't do it with just nothing there. They needed to have some kind of science or some kind of math for people to follow. And this following can't just come from the discovery in the moment. It has to also go into the past. So this is why I said the dinosaur thing is part of the universe story. And this is why dinosaurs are such a big part of mainstream and Western society. They have to tell you the past, the present, and the future. And if you're powerless in this control-based universe, then all you can do is just go along with the people who are in power. And if you can control the universe, or at least trying to control even the planet, that makes you God, a God among men. This is why the universe is such a big story, because the universe, the way the heliocentric universe is presented to the masses of people, projects this identity of God when you're going where no one has gone before, exploring the final frontier, sending cars to Mars, sending cameras up into space to take pictures of what you think is out there. NASA and the heliocentric universe is a business. It has to be sold to you. And in businesses, it's the lie that really matters the most, because the lie is going to continue growing in the minds of the people and gaining customers over time. If you think, it's easy to see when you think about it like a business, because think about it with like cell phones and any other technology that's out there. You know they're hiding technology for profit. They can't release the best phone right now. They only make $1 million. If they spread that phone, putting in this, putting in that, taking away this, taking away that, over 10 years, they'll make $10 billion. So if they'll lie about technology, what makes you think they won't lie about higher technologies or higher information, other more important information. Of course they would lie. They do not have our best interest in mind. Their best interest is based upon profit. They had to keep pumping these commercials and these beliefs into your head. This is what commercials are doing. They're programming your subconscious. This is why space movies and dinosaur movies are so important for children, because it has to get into your adult mind through your child mind in order for it to anchor itself deep into your reality. So this connects all of these systems together. Evolution theory is connected with the idea of an evolving universe, an evolving intelligence of people from type 1 to type 2 to type 3 to type 4. And if that question is out there, then that sets the tone for other beings to be out there. And you're just a dumb one. And that's another part of this system. You're just a dumbass type 1 civilization that can't even take care of yourself, let alone control the energies of the planet. What makes you think you're going to be able to tap into the energy of the solar system if you can't even stop war? So the ignorance is part of this system too, because the ignorance allows these systems to continue to grow. You have to be dumb, you have to be controlling, you have to be primal and destructive. And it's the evolution, it's the technology that's going to fix that. And like everybody knows, they make money off your destruction, your death, your sickness, your disease, your ignorance. All of it is profitable. And like I said in previous videos, it's the time that you lose from believing in these systems that's actually worth your life. You can't get this time back that you're losing from the lies of these manipulators. That's the real money. That's the real gold that's out there. It's this time. It's another reason why I emphasize so much on the time that we lose in a relationship with our dreams. You're losing a part of yourself. When you lose a relationship with your dreams, you lose a relationship with part of yourself. When you lose a relationship with your universe, the way it actually is, you're losing the relationship with part of yourself and the people that you're with. It's de-evolving you, and you're being de-evolved so this artificial evolution can live longer. So evolution is thrown into your reality, not only from monkeys to you, but from type 1 civilizations and galaxies to type 2, 3, and 4 civilizations and galaxies. That's why dinosaurs are such a big deal. Monkey evolution is such a big deal. The Big Bang, the beginning of all this stuff, is such a big deal. They have to tell you the whole story. It can't just be one part. Can't just be the right now. It has to be the past, the present, and the future. Another thing that this idea, this vesting yourself into the heliocentric universe, another thing that it does is that it focuses all your attention and your evolution, which is a crucial part of your existence because they're selling it to you that way. Your evolution is based upon technology. So when they talk about these systems and these civilizations that are out there, potentially out there, they're telling you that they are where they are and what they're doing is based upon technology.
And just remember, the dinosaurs did not have a space program. And that's why they're not here today.
They got to that civilization because they evolved their technology. So what they're doing is they're creating the end game. They're creating the perspective of what's out there based upon what they're already doing, what they plan. Like I said, when NASA came out, their big thing was like inventing all these technological breakthroughs and shit like that. People still talk about that shit today. You know what NASA invented? It came out and it's because they need you to believe in it. They need you. And then people say this all the time. Aren't you using a computer? Well, NASA was a part of it. You know, it's not about your emotions, but emotions sell beliefs, and ignorant people are heavily driven by emotion. It's very easy to tap into that. So selling you space movies and dinosaur movies as a kid taps into the foundations of your emotional perspective of reality. And when you grow up, that's going to be one of the hardest things to challenge. Because like changing yourself, if you have to drop the evolution of your galaxy, you're dropping the evolution of yourself. There's no more growth. People are going to lose their shit. They're not only going to be angry at the liars, they're going to be angry that they're not going to have anything to believe in anymore. People truly believe in this going out and discovering other planets and other aliens and all this other stuff. Look at the New Age community. Their entire belief system is based upon the heliocentric universe. All the fake pictures of Earth and the Elon Musk and the space program, all of that is to keep those illusions, that fake evolution alive. And like I said, if they're selling you the reality of these galaxies and universes based upon type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and those civilizations are based upon technology, then they're selling you that technology is the way that you will evolve based upon God.
Dinosaurs did not have a space program, and that's why they're not here today.
If you do not grow, if you do not become like we are today with a space program, then you will die off like the dinosaurs. And since the dinosaurs didn't just die off, they were killed by God. And we could be killed by God. This is that whole calamity shit. Things are going bad because God is angry. We're destroying the earth. We're going to die like the dinosaurs. He's going to send an asteroid in and blow us up. The super volcanoes are going to come. Like, this is all part of, there's no separation between church and state. It's all the same thing. It's all based upon emotions and fear. Control. They even said it in their definitions. The Kardashev scale, type 1 is about controlling the planet, controlling the solar system, controlling the galaxy, controlling the universe, controlling the multiverse, creating, destroying, and controlling multiverses. Like, it's the perspective of the universe through Western eyes. So when these beliefs are anchored so deep within your conscious and subconscious reality over generations upon generations, when you anchor that, you're a half step away from hypnosis. These artificial beliefs are one sliver away from being hypnotized. Because what's the difference? If you're hypnotized and the hypnotist tells you to do something, you're going to do it. If you're hypnotized by belief and the beliefs tell you to think, act, or believe a certain way, then you're going to do it. Now, is that belief making you do it? No. But your belief in the authority of that intelligence, of that belief, is making you do it. So it's manipulating your emotions, your pre-actions to do it, to complete that action. So this is a living hypnosis. We're in a mass hypnosis. And the hypnosis is designed to glorify the controllers based upon glorifying the system that the controllers are hiding behind. So the reason why there's so much focus on alien life and super smart aliens and all this other stuff is because they're potentially the villain. They're potentially the bad guy. And they're already the bad guy because they're smarter than us, so they can destroy us at any moment. So that creates fear. That creates ignorance and another basis for our type 1-ness. Another thing that it does when you do that is it installs this idea that we're evolving towards that. So we're evolving to be like those asshole aliens. And they're only seeing these aliens as assholes and potentially dangerous because these assholes are criminals themselves. They can't even trust theoretical beings in another universe because they don't trust themselves. So they built a whole universe based upon that mistrust, that fear, that ignorance, and that nonsense. And people buy into it. And they downgrade themselves and accept ignorance as the norm. Because other systems, other people have been empowered with the authority of that intelligence. All you have to do is make sure you stay alive. This is why poverty is such a part of the system. Because you're so caught up in just your survival, maintaining a day-to-day living condition, you don't have the ability or the time or the inclination or the intelligence to even conceptualize the nature of the universe, the nature of reality. You're too busy just trying to get food on the table for your kids. So it has to be sold to you every moment of every day. Technology, the computer that you're listening to this video on right now, the TV, your cell phone, your car, the job that you work at, every part of this reality, especially in technology, is a constant reminder that this is the way that our reality is and should be going. They're commercials. Look at how frequent commercials are. Look at what they're designed to do. NASA selling space, Elon Musk and SpaceX selling space, movies selling space, politicians selling the universe, space, technology. All of those are commercials designed to sell you the heliocentric universe every moment of every day of your life. There's going to be a space story every day. Some kind of discovery, some kind of whatever. It's going to be there. So before I close this out, let me emphasize some of the key things I wanted to get out there. When they emphasize and they sell you this, because this is big right now, these aliens. Oh, what do aliens think about us? And what are these spaceships that are buzzing past naval ships and all this other stuff? You know, it's a big deal because they have to sell you that story. So selling you aliens is selling you the evolved intelligence based upon technology. That technology part is key. It's the commercial. They have to sell it to you because you're going to go out there and you're going to buy some space shit. You're going to buy some technology. And that's going to keep the lie going on and on and on and on. So selling you aliens sells you technology, sells you space, sells you the future, sells you fear. And if you fear these aliens, you will hide yourself underneath the system that can protect you from these aliens or from this destructive thing. So this is why they created this laser, this idea of a laser destroying an asteroid up there. Because when they tell you that an asteroid's coming to destroy the Earth, you're going to hide underneath your mommy and daddy, that's NASA and the US government. And they're going to protect you from the evil God that's destroying you because you don't know how to act. You're littering, you're destroying the Earth, you're living like these animals, you're doing all this, but they're not telling you that they're doing this on purpose. The poverty, the hiding of technology, the crime, all of this is on purpose. They're not telling you that they're putting drugs and guns into the community. They're just telling you that you're violent, that you can't get along, that you're an animal. And the main thing that they're doing when they're installing this belief system in these universes, this distraction, what they're doing is that when they focus on this alien life perspective, this alien intelligence perspective, they're taking away the attention of the perspective of the intelligence of your ancestors and the intelligence here. This is why they can't even talk about the intelligence in the oceans. 3/4 of the Earth is the ocean. So they'll go on and on and on and on about how we are the most intelligent beings. I mean, they just throw this out there. Joe Rogan does this. Michio Kaku, all the big heads that are out there. We are intelligent because we created technology and have a space program? Is that all it really is? But in their definition of the universe and the evolved intelligences of the universes, it's all based upon technology. So by that analysis, we are the smartest, most evolved beings and potentially the only intelligent beings in the whole universe. But they ignore the ocean. They focus on physical technology as being evolution. And they're ignoring your ancestors and what all the technology that came up before this Western belief system. And people are going to believe into it because, like I said, they're believing the people. They're not actually listening to the people. They're just believing the perspectives of these Michio Kakus and Neil deGrasse Tysons because they have the authority. So they can tell you in your face that we're the most evolved beings right now in this moment. And they have to tell you that because of monkey evolution, because they had to sell that. Because if they acknowledge the fact that our ancestors had a super high technology, if we acknowledge that, it throws a monkey wrench in their whole belief system. You can't have people smarter back then than people now. This is why they have to focus on the dark ages and all that, shit. It's all about Western beliefs. Their belief. They came out of the darkness. They came out of that destructive shit. They were the ones living in Europe in that fucked up, dirty, disease-ridden ass fucking shit. And the Moors had to come in and clean it all up, install plumbing, get all them to be washing their. They had to install all that shit. That was the beginning of their reality. Functional intelligence. Because before that, they were just dying off. That's their day one. That's not our day one. We had intelligence and technology before they was even washing their own fucking bodies. But since now they are in charge of the authority of intelligence, because they pushed themselves forcefully by killing and destroying and colonizing people, they pushed themselves into that system. They have to tell the story from their perspective. So they will ignore your story. You had intelligence, you had technology that predates their whole shit. You don't exist. There might be intelligence in the ocean that completely destroys the intelligence of the university system. They don't exist. It doesn't matter. So what exists? What exists is the intelligence that we have right now and the beliefs that we have right now, and nothing else fucking matters at all. So they're downplaying you to upplay themselves. They're upplaying with fear and intelligence. The aliens, they're upplaying that perspective because that upplays their future and their present. Because they have technology. They're working their way towards those aliens in the future or in the other civilization. They're going to be there just in time. But like I said, that time between the beginning of that technology and the end of that technology is all based on profit. This is why they have to sell you the intelligence of the aliens. They have to sell you the fear of the aliens. Because if we don't do something about this shit quick, the aliens are going to come and fucking destroy us and take over our shit. Believing in the universe the way they believe in it also sets the stage for this obsession with colonialism, the frontier, the final frontier kind of shit. It justifies their actions. When they say aliens will come here and destroy us or not even bother with us because they're too smart and we're too dumb, they're justifying the actions of the colonizers. They're saying, oh, well, if aliens will do it, then it's okay that we did it because we're smarter. We're just one of the ones that would just conquer instead of ignoring. So it's okay because aliens would do it to us too. Justifying the crimes of psychopaths. So exploring that final frontier is what they're calling intelligence. They don't know shit about this place right now. This is what's so unintelligent about it. They know nothing of this place and want to tell you that they know everything. Millions and billions of light years and miles and all this other shit. They know all this shit. How far, how many stars and planets. They know everything about shit that's billions and millions of miles away, but they don't know a fucking thing about what's going on right here, right now. And since they've glorified it and hidden, who talks about this information for so long, you can't challenge that information. You're not allowed to. And it's designed that way. So the Kardashev scale, in a nutshell, is like the American dream of the universe. It's the idea of evolving your reality into another type of intelligence. It's the college, it's the higher education of reality. And if you don't do it, you're going to fail. You're going to end up homeless on the street. Humanity will be homeless on the street if we don't invest all of our money, all of our energy into the space program. That's how they're selling it to you. If you don't do that, you will fail as a civilization. You will not become type 2. It's just like the American dream. Look how people look down on you. when you don't tell them that you're a functioning battery of this destructive ass system. If you have any hesitation in the way this shit works in this system, you're a problem. You're a failure. So you don't want to be a failure. So you better put your fucking energy into a space program. Otherwise, you're going to die. It's just that simple. Aliens are going to come and kill you and destroy your Earth and everything else. And you don't work on your technology, you're not going to be able to defend yourself against it. I mean, have you seen Independence Day? Come on. It's real. So what they're saying, if you don't have a space program, then you're not going to exist. What they're saying is that God he built this whole realm for technology. And if you don't do technology, then it's just going to start over until you do technology right. The other aliens and other type 2 civilizations, 3, 4, 5, and 6 civilizations, they did it right. They made the right technology. They're evolved all the way up into manipulating galaxies and universes. What are you doing? Nothing. So this is where the CERN thing comes in. That whole multiverse shit in type 6 and type 5, that's where CERN comes in. So NASA is designed to distract you with venturing into a fully functional type 1 civilization, and then type 2 going into the solar system, and then type 3 possibly with the galaxy, but type 4, 5, and 6 going into the multiverse. And they're seeding all this shit with the movies. You got your Doctor Strange and the multiverse, all this shit. They're seeding it into your reality because that's when they're going to shift gears. They're just going to shift completely over 2 and 3 and go into the multiverse perspective. And the way they're going to do that is with CERN, or at least pawn off the illusion with CERN. They're already doing this with the idea that they're opening up interdimensional doorways. Well, what do you think they're opening up doorways to? Or at least trying to tell you that they're opening up doorways to. So in order to jump out of the NASA program, they had to jump into the CERN program. And all the other systems and all the other beliefs and theories still fit into that system too, because you could just leave it all behind. Lying about the dinosaurs and the universe and all that together, it holds down the theory of millions of years of evolution in other galaxies that could be populated by dinosaurs or other beings that could potentially want to kill us or eat us or shit like that. And if you don't vest everything that you have in your reality into technology, you're going to end up like the dinosaurs. Because God wants technology. God is angry if you don't invent technology. This is the religion. This is the religious God in your Western science. Fear propaganda. This is your relationship with science and religion. In both of these, they have the fear propaganda in religion and in science. They're theories. Everything in the scientific community is based upon a theory. Same thing in religions. Theories of God. The fear propaganda. The justification of nonsense to look powerful. Justifying these theories with loose arguments. It's for power and control. Calamity. The end of times. What is a space program? What is science trying to do? Trying to save us from going extinct. Why? Because God's going to destroy us. Same thing like religion. Same shit. In both religion and science. What do they have? Heavy ass ego. Giant egos. And out of balance masculine energy. They have to have the giant ego because the ego is what sells the emotion into the masses of people and the individual. Like I said, look at your Neil deGrasse Tyson, look at your Bill Nye, look at your Michio Kaku. Look at how they have to sell you what they're talking about. The infinitely large, the infinitely far, the infinitely small, so infinitely big and small that you, as a dumbass, ignorant, regular ass person, you can't even comprehend what they're doing. And if you do, they'll just talk shit to you like an insecure man. They'll bring you down with ad hominem and act like exactly like an insecure man would act when you challenge them. So to close it all out, like I said, a few things that I want to emphasize. The Kardashev scale was dropped the same time as NASA and used to reverse engineer the shape of the universe from the eyes of a creator born in the Western world. They created this version of the universe based upon the way they see the world and the people and how they act. So if they act hella controlling and destructive and chaotic, then that's how they're going to see the world. That's how they're going to see other civilizations. And that's how they're going to sell it to you, to justify the actions that they're taking against you. They need you to remain fearful. They need you to remain ignorant and compliant with the authority of their intelligence. If you do not comply with their belief systems, you will become an outcast. And the people who are completely vested in this system and cannot let it go will defend that universe. They will defend those belief systems, even if it means completely ignoring and downplaying people that are close to them. This is why people who are investigating the lies of the heliocentric universe are losing a lot of their friends and family members. Because, like I said, it cuts deep into the basis of who and what you are. On the subconscious level, it forces change. For you to even bring up that question is forcing change. You're forcing people to step outside of their comfort zone, the comfort zone of everybody else who's also in this belief system. The very nature of the question forces them to change. And you cannot force people to change. You can only present them with the information, but they have to change themselves. They have to do it themselves. If they do not, in order to protect themselves from embarrassment and from seeming unintelligent, they have to attack you. They have to embarrass you, and they have to make you look unintelligent. And this is where we are right now. So once people start to challenge the authority of this intelligence, that's when the system will start to fall. It's not the information itself that's going to bring the system down. It's the challenging of the authority, because when you challenge the authority of intelligence, you're activating the authority of intelligence in yourself. Intelligence doesn't matter for people who can't even ingest. They can't even comprehend information. It's not going to matter. It's going to bounce off of them like a rubber ball. So in order for them to get to that space to receive that information, they have to first activate their own authority of intelligence. Until then, individually and collectively, nothing's going to change. And the authority of their intelligence is slowly but surely crumbling down. We've seen it over the last, 10 years? Slowly but surely, systems are crumbling. And it has to take that long. I tell people, whoever, if you're wanting this to move faster, or whatever this is, then that's a problem that you have. Because I honestly would like it to take as long as possible. Things happen the right way when they take a long time. If you rush these things, they're not going to be the right way. You're going to miss things. You're going to have people jumping into these realities and not really having the foundation to stand upon. And in order to hide that ignorance, they're going to develop this ego. And this is what happens in the spiritual or the new age community. They get all spiritual. They get all pumped up on love and light and everything that's in that stupid shit. And then they're just like, I know everything. I love everything. I am everything. Well, how did you get there? Well, I just am. I didn't get here. I was always this. So what do you mean? How did I get here? They start developing all this shit to defend themselves. They don't have any real conviction on who and what they are. This is what the masses of people are doing right now. There's no conviction on who you are or what you are, because you don't know where you came from. You're living in a belief system of people who just got out of the darkness. Your people weren't in darkness. Our ancestors weren't in darkness in the last however many hundreds of years. No, that's a specific group of people. And they have to sell you that. Technology is their highest form of intelligence. Hard, solid, computer chip technology. They're selling you a microwave when you were born with the entire internet. Your ancestors had access to the internet and all the highest technologies that you can't even imagine. They had all this. And whatever happened, happened. But now you got people coming up to you talking about, I got this microwave. It's the best microwave. It's the most intelligent microwave in the whole universe. In fact, the universe was designed to grow into a world that could create this microwave. You gotta have this microwave. You don't have a microwave? Something wrong with you. My ancestors didn't need a microwave. Oh, really? Your ancestors? The savages? The ones that are using our computers right now? Their descendants? You're using a microwave? No thanks. Keep your bogus universe. Keep your illusions. And keep that nonsense. It's crumbling. And it's only a matter of time before the whole thing falls.